This is Devin Mann with Man Versus, and of course, I got a very entertaining host, co-host with me. I have Sean. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So, Sean is from Kennesaw State, and I've known him for about 3 to 4 years, something like that.
Give or take.
Yeah, we met through our friend Dre, but this podcast is going to be on masculinity and really black masculinity because I want to talk about it because it's been a topic on Twitter that I see all the time. Like, men can't say nothing without getting shamed or some type of you sexist, you toxic masculinity, this or whatever. And I figured I would get Sean on it because I remember when we had the Greek Sexual Assault Awareness Week. Mm-hmm. And we had the panel of Greek men go up there, and y'all was talking about sexual assault and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like all the men were beating around the bush. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you was like, they had asked the question, have you ever, do you think that you've ever like assaulted someone? And all the men gave their answers or whatever. And you was like, okay, let's stop the bull. Like, you're like, let's stop the bullshit. Like, y'all know what y'all be doing. Don't be dumb. Don't be saying this.
Yeah, I remember clearly. Lots of public ridicule after that.
No, man, I was for it. Like, that was when I knew that you was different. Like, regardless of, you know, you being black or whatever, graduating or being LGBTQ or whatever. I was like, yo, this is a real dude because I think men are supposed to protect women. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, man, because me and Don were talking about like what the next topic was going to be. And I was like, dude, I want to talk about masculinity because it seems like no matter what men say, there's going to be some type of ridicule or we're going to be some type of misogynistic, sexist. Like we can't say nothing. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, dang, who do I know that's real enough to, you know, be completely honest, like even objective and just be like, yep, you can do this. You can't do that. I think you should blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dang. I was like, I remember Sean, he went in that one time in front of like the entire Kennesaw fraternities and sorority. I was like, yo, I need him. So now that we got the intro out the way, talk about yourself real quick.
Okay. Well, hello again. I am a Kennesaw State University graduate, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Music and a minor in Dance. Pretty heavily involved during my time at Kennesaw, Greek life, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Pretty much anything student life I did, so RA, Order of Omega, Greek Programming Board, anything I could sort of get my hands on. Taught Zumba too, dabbled in that. But I really just wanted to give back to my community and sort of put people in better places than I came in as a student. So just heavily involved. I now work at Kennesaw State University too. Okay. I guess I've been trying to keep that on the low.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, because I don't want people like bum rushing my office or anything like that. But I mean, it's out there now and people see me around. But I work at Kennesaw State now. Okay. And I'm the coordinator of Student Leadership Development Program. So pretty much anything leadership development, I have my hands in for the school. And then I dance on the side, you know. On
the side?
Music on the side, whatever.
Man, hype yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, I just finished my first season as a company member for this African dance company in Atlanta. So
okay, speak on it.
It's called a Dinker African Dance Theater. So it focuses on a fusion between classical dance forms and traditional African dances. So okay. Yeah, we did a lot of things. Went to Rochester for, have you guys heard of the Fringe Festival?
Yeah, I know that. My mom talks about that.
Yeah, we went up there and performed up there in this play called Black Matter. And then we did a couple of other things. We did our showcase in March, right before this COVID. Can we cuss on here? Is this like a very candid?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have a
come on, it's me.
Terrible mouth.
It's me. I don't know how not to cut.
But yeah, right before shit hit the fan, we just finished our season. And we're actually pushing it because we right when people said you need to not do large gatherings, we had a show right after that. But
I think y'all were fine.
Yeah, it was right. It was right. It was right when people were like, you need to close things. So
I mean, you must have been fine because
I mean, I'm still here.
You're breathing. You look very happy. You look healthy. You look.
I try.
Legs looking A1, man. Look at those calves, bro.
Yeah, that's all I have because everything else working out is such a bitch to me because I don't know, like I'm the most healthy ass nigga you will ever meet.
Same.
Like, it's crazy.
Like I work out and eat pretty healthy, but I'm sorry, but McDonald's and Crystals, it got my heart.
I can't do McDonald's though.
So you ain't never been hungry at 1 a.m. and got some French fries?
No, not from McDonald's. I'll go to Crystals. I can stomach Crystals. McDonald's, you just feel bad about your soul after you eat that.
I do feel bad. But I don't know. Maybe it's the Southern in me. I don't know what it is, but I just give me a 10-piece with a large fry. Oh yeah, the 10-piece do hit. The 10-piece hit. The 10-piece do. If you get the right 10-piece at the right spot and it's hot, it's hitting. Yeah. It's hitting. Yeah. But so now that we got you out the way and we talked about stuff like that, I just want to talk about black masculinity and masculinity altogether. Because even outside of you being very real about, men being trash and pigs and certain men doing certain things wrong, you are also part of a community. Everyone knows that you're gay, right? Everyone knows, you're not.
I'm actually bisexual. But
bisexual, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. It's fine.
I didn't know.
It's fine.
Oh, but that's what's up. Hey, I really don't care. You can do what you want.
I mean, I don't even know sometimes, so it's whatever.
Nah, but see, my mom used to do hair, so a lot of salons they have gay men in there. So I grew up around gay men. Like one of my closest, like my mom's closest friends, I call him my uncle. His name is Jason. He's gay, and like I thought it was normal or quote unquote normal to be gay, straight, everyone just chilling together, whatever. Right. But the older I got, the more I was like, oh, like y'all tripping. Like y'all care about what people
Yeah,
like
hate is real.
Hate is real. Like y'all really homophobic out here. And so I wanted to touch on like what is it like to be, not only are you bisexual, you also dance. And then you also are art majors, was an art major as well. Yeah. So those are three things that a lot of men and even some women don't consider to be quote unquote masculine. Because it's like, when you think of masculine, you think of probably a 6'2" dude with a beard. He got a couple tattoos. Right. And he worked at a mechanic store. And he made like $100K a year. Got a wife and like 2 or 3 kids, maybe a daughter, a couple sons, whatever. And they play football. And he used to play basketball back in the day. And he's probably from the hood. Like that's usually what people think of when they think of a masculine man. They don't think of the guy with dreads from Kennesaw State who's a dancer and he's really good at it. So I wanted you to touch on your experience being like, what do you think masculinity is? Like if you were to break it down, what is your experience of being masculine?
Well, you threw in a lot of layers there. I can talk about, I guess I can start off with sort of what was introduced to me growing up and how I guess I'm supposed to exist as a male in this time and day and age or whatever that. Pretty much how you explained it, big buff, tattoos, like pretty much everything I guess you can call stereotypical being a man, liking sports and playing sports and all that other stuff. And I knew from a pretty young age, I would say about middle school, that I was attracted to guys. And just growing up in the church, a Baptist church at that.
Oh man.
I always, it was already a downplay of your masculinity if you were attracted to men. So that sort of had an effect on me. It had an effect, but I didn't realize it till later because I've always had a I don't give a fuck attitude about my sexuality because I'm like, it is what it is. I never had problems accepting it. But I did understand from a very early age and just from my upbringing that sexuality did downplay,
you being a man.
You being a man, your presence as a man. So to take it a step further, when I didn't find interest in sports, because I played baseball when I was very, very little, but after my dad walked out of my life and all that good shit, and my mom just sort of let me do whatever, I joined band. And
band is tough though.
Yeah.
Band is not easy. Y'all condition.
It's really not. And that wasn't the most masculine thing either, because just growing up around my cousins and family, like, you had your people playing football and all these different sports. So they were like, oh, you do music? I was like, okay. Okay, that's cool. So once I get to college, and I've always had a knack for dancing. I did, I danced in band and all that other stuff and choreographed routines for that. But once I started teaching Zumba, that's when I really started to sort of deal with, I guess, my idea of masculinity, because I always had known what I guess I'm supposed to portray, or I've always sort of followed that norm of like I have to look a certain way or do certain things, wear my hair a certain way, like all those different things. But Zumba, which is a Latin base,
the name Zumba.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit more feminine movement, saying I never had a problem doing it, but I began realizing as I would do it and sort of teach and just really start expand myself and be in different circles, it's like people weren't really receptive of that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, me being bisexual, gay, whatever, it just, I started getting looks, and I understood what it meant to be sort of discriminated against on terms of your sexuality and just even by the ways of how you dress, because that's when I started being a little bit more fluid in how I dress and how I wear my hair, wearing pigtails and different things like that, brighter colors, all that stuff. So as I really began diving into dance and even getting into like ballet, which is what I eventually got into doing my dance minor. It wasn't a lot of guys there. It wasn't a lot of guys there. It was, I would say, dance and ballet in general, like that's just always been a heavy, I don't want to say girl, woman, I don't know, I'm feminine. Not good, feminine thing to do.
Yeah.
So as I really got into that and sort of dove into further changes with like things that I had to wear, because I had to wear tights for ballet and dance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really began to see like, okay, you doing too much. I don't fuck with what you doing. Let me distance myself from that. And that's really sort of how I've existed really up until I would say about a year ago, because a year ago I just realized that like everything is a social construct, and all the things put behind what you wear, how you act, all that shit, like it's all bullshit. It really doesn't matter what you do, long as you're being the best person that you can be. Masculine, feminine, it really doesn't matter. And it's not wrong if you identify or want to do things that don't necessarily follow those typical things of masculinity or feminine. And that's what I really had to come to terms with, because I just always found myself trying to conform and limit myself for the sake of making other people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's sort of, I guess, me in a nutshell, and sort of where I am now with masculinity and identifying my sexuality and all that other stuff.
Okay, that's what's up. So I remember you touched on the dancing part and how is it you don't think it, or in general it's not really a masculine thing to do? I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing.
No, I don't consider it masculine or feminine. I just think it's a form of expression. But I think in general, people think it's a very feminine thing to do. And I think those views are changing more so now than maybe like early 1900s, something like that. Because during that time, it was probably like, oh, men doing ballet? Oh, that's gay as fuck.
Absolutely not.
What are you doing?
Absolutely not.
And I mean, I've heard stories about people like not being able to do dance in school because it's like, oh, that's not a good representation of a man or a representation of our family. So I think people in general still like, it's a little gay, it's a little girly. I don't think you should do it. But I do see a shift in the dance community where more men are dancing, which is funny because I've been dancing for years, but now it's like a thing for guys to dance and be lit and stuff. So I think I'm seeing a subtle shift.
See, that's the thing that I think about sometimes when I think of masculinity, because it's like, what is masculinity? You know what I'm saying? Because like I was raised in the South, with a pretty hood dad, and my mom is from the country. So I was like, he taught me certain things. He's like, a man does this, and it's not necessarily anything to be with straight or gay or whatever. It's like how you a man and you can't change a tire. Like that ain't got to do nothing with who you sleep with or what you identify as.
Right.
It's like you can't change a tire. Like, you don't know how to fix a sink underneath, you know what I'm saying? You can't change a light bulb. Like, can you do things around the house that a provider and a protector is supposed to do? And so, me personally, and I think sometimes a lot in society, when people say certain things about masculinity, a lot of it is not really attached to your sexuality or even, you being black or white or whatever. It's like, anyone can change a tire, or any man should be able to change a tire. Like, can your partner, if it's a man or a woman, can they call you up and say, hey, I need you to take care of this. Like, can you do this for me? Like, and I feel like personally as a man that you should be able to do that. Like if my girlfriend calls me up and it's like, yo, my tire popped, or hey, I got a leak in the sink. Can I as a man fix that? Can I as a man, okay, babe, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and boom, the situation is gonna be solved. Like, can you be calm and collected and fix the situation? And I feel like a lot of people, when they automatically think of, oh, well, can you do this, or can you change a tire, or can you fix a sink, or can you pay the bills or whatever, they automatically assume that you're talking about straight men. So it's like, I'm not saying anything about straight, gay, LB, whatever you identify as. You're thinking that. Right. So you're part of the problem. Right. I'm not part of the problem. And I think a lot of men and women do this. Like, gay or straight, because like for some reason gay men don't think that they can play football. Like, I don't know, maybe you know different gay people than I know gay people, but a lot of gay people that I know, there's like, well, yeah, I can't play football because like I don't really do that. It's like, it's too rough. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's a sport. Just play the sport. And I'm not saying that girls can play football or whatever, like that's a whole different concept because of genetics and body size or whatever. But I know a gay dude who's like 6'3" and 250. I'm like, bro, if you don't be a tight end right now and go D1, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like a lot of people, when you hear straight or gay or bi, whatever, they automatically put you in this box. And if you don't, and if you deviate from that box, are you really part of that community, quote unquote?
Right. And you hit on a lot of different things. One thing that, going back to, you said your father brought you up with certain things, like a man is supposed to do certain things. It's interesting that you say that, because I think this is why I have the view that I have when it comes to gender roles, and I don't really follow them, and I don't really expect other people to follow them. Like, I grew up, I didn't have my dad, so everything I learned was from my mom, and I didn't really have male figures in my life either. So it was my aunt, my mom, and my grandma. Everything I learned was from them. So when it came to, I didn't associate, being strong, being the provider, all those things with men. I actually associated them with women. And I really never learned what masculinity was outside of, or I guess what it's supposed to be or what it's not supposed to be. I never really learned what that was until I started seeing what people were projecting or what people wanted to actually happen when it came to black men or men in general. And I think that's where I started sort of defining what masculinity was for myself. And I think that's what men should do as a whole, because I think you brought up a very interesting point, that these are things that I just associate with men in general, and I never really thought of it like that. But I think I've always thought of it as whatever you're comfortable with, that's what you're okay to do. You don't have to follow these preconceived notations of what a man is and all this other stuff. So even when it came to dance and all those things, I could do sports. I was actually really good at sports, but it wasn't, I did dance because I wanted to do dance, not because of I identified or anything like that. I don't think it had a connection. But I can see how people sort of put themselves into boxes when it comes to certain things. And I think a part of it is fear, because I think for a long time I didn't want to go in those circles, to talk about sports or play sports or just do some of those typical masculine things. I didn't even feel comfortable doing those things out of the fact that I identified the way I identified. I mean, really, because I don't know what people are going to do. I don't know how people are going to respond. Because somebody could try to kill me, somebody could try to beat me up. Like, it's all kind of crazy shit that people can do.
Man, get a Glock.
I'm thinking about it. It's really on my mind.
like before I would touch on that real quick. Like, so with the whole sports thing, I did swimming. Swimming is not really considered masculine nor feminine. When you think of swimming, you kind of think of everybody. You kind of think, you think of a wide range of people. Like, you see lifeguards, you see female and male lifeguards, like all the time. No matter what pool you go to, you see a couple dudes, you see a couple girls, and you be like, okay, whatever, lifeguard. So me being in like a very gender neutral sport was a little bit different, because people see me, they're like, oh my God, like he's kind of short, but he's swole. Like he got to play football. You're a running back. What are you? Like you must be a running back. Are you a linebacker? Right. It's like, yeah, dude, I I swim, man. And people be like, what? It's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've been swimming since I was like, 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. I've been swimming for literally decades. And so it kind of shakes up a lot of men. Because like every guy in my family plays football. They've either gone D1 or D2.
Oh.
Like I'm the first, I want to say in like 2 generations. Yeah, because I'm my uncle. Yeah, in like 2 generations to not go to school on a football scholarship. Like all my cousins, my brother, he played at, like I'm not wearing the shirt, but he played at NC State. My other cousin, he played at West Georgia. My other uncle, he played at HBCU. So literally, like football is ingrained into our family. And when I did swimming, because I have heart problems, so I couldn't really play football. So when I did swimming, it was kind of like a, it was kind of like a shake up. It's like, whoa, like that's kind of, and I wasn't even into football. Like I didn't like watching football unless it's the Super Bowl or the playoffs. Because I think sports at that high, any sport at like the highest level is entertaining to watch. Even golf, when you look at the Masters or whatever, it's like, oh, like they're so intense. Like, I didn't know swinging a club with $100 million on the line is so intense. Like it comes down to 2 or 3 strokes. But yeah, like I did swimming and I did track. Like you think of male and females, like I did very gender neutral sports. And touching on the whole dancing thing is, I'll admit, even me, when I think of dancing, I either think of women or gay dudes. Like I'm not really into the dancing community like that. I don't really care about dancing. Are there straight guys that dance?
There's a lot of straight guys.
Really? Like they do like what are they doing, like more like street dancing, or is it like everything? I really don't know.
Everything. Ballet, Horton, modern. I've seen, and I think it's something you have to be exposed to. Because I mean you would even see, and that's actually the whole premise of Alvin Ailey. I'm not sure if you know the context of like that dance company, but Alvin Ailey was a gay man. I know them. Yeah, it was a black dude, right? Yeah, he was a black gay man, but he didn't want to, for the sake of pushing like black dance forward, he presented a lot of heteronormative traditions and things into his dances. So everything was very, macho, and a lot of gender roles with males and females. Like he put a lot of that stuff in the forefront of his dance. And honestly, a lot of dances where you see men in it, they portray straight male, or they have the role of a straight male. So we're still fighting those battles in dance, even where you can identify or project sort of gay LGBTQ sort of insights to people when it comes to dance. So
I don't think it's productive to be homophobic though. Like even from like let's say you dislike it privately, I don't think it's productive to be homophobic publicly. Like me, I'm a capitalist, so I see things as like business ventures and like partnering with people and things like that. I mean, privately, I still mess with y'all. Like I don't really like. My number one belief is let people do what they want to do. Because there are people out there, even straight people, where I disagree. I'm like, I would never do that. Like how can you have sex with 10 girls in a week? Right. Like, something's wrong with you, dude. But hey, let people do what they want to do. Like I really don't care. Like you do you, I'm gonna do me. As long as you're not killing nobody, or I hope you don't stab nobody, nothing like that. I don't care what you do. So when people, like when guys are homophobic or they say homophobic things, I'm like, dude, like I just don't, I don't get it. Like, what are you, like, okay, this one dude has a boyfriend. Yay? Like what are you upset about? Like, why are you?
It blows me too. And to be honest with you, it really bothers me when black men do it, or black people in general are homophobic. Because I just don't understand. If you understand the premise of everything that black people have gone through and how much we've been discriminated against and how people on a daily try to put us down, why would you try to inflict that on somebody else? And it may not even be you trying to, but I just find it problematic that you don't sit down and question like, damn, I'm just, because let me set the record straight. I'm not sure if anybody knows, and you can agree, disagree, whatever the fuck, I don't care. But I don't have any control over my sexuality. Like, I am attracted to who I'm attracted to. Yeah. I went through a period where I tried not to, talk myself through all kind of stuff, but it is what it is. So from my understanding, sexuality is not something you control. And with that, and I have to add another layer to this. Why would I choose a quote, because they call it lifestyle sometimes. A tougher lifestyle. Right. Why would I choose a tougher life for myself? That makes no sense. I feel it. That makes no sense. If I could change it, I would, because it's hard out here. Like, I have people who have sent me death threats sometimes, like because of my sexuality. That's so dumb. And if it was something I could control, or I mean, even if it was, why does it matter? Why are you so pressed on? It's one thing if you don't agree, but it's something completely different where you start blocking out the basic rights of people, you know, of just being human. Like, how is you as a fellow human? I hate to take it to that level. That probably sounds cheesy as fuck.
It don't.
But how is you as a fellow human
hating?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like,
I think there's a lot of things that, like, so I'm very pro-life and pro like adoption. Like, it doesn't make any sense how there's these numbers could be wrong because they could have changed in the past couple of years, but I don't know. There's literally hundreds of thousands of kids waiting to be adopted, and there's like double the amount of families who want to adopt them. And you know, like a lot of gay people, you know, lesbian or, you know, males or whatever, you know, they don't want to produce, like they don't want to, you know, get a girl than be a sex against. They just rather adopt 2 or 3 kids when they're babies and grow them up. Be like, okay, we're your fathers, we're your moms, or whatever. Cool. To me, it doesn't make any sense how you would let a child sit in a facility or some type of boys and girls club. And don't get me wrong, they do the best they can, and I understand they do a good job and we need them. But if I could give this child away to a gay couple that's making like $150K a year, they got insurance, they're gonna take care of them kids, they ain't never abused nobody a day in their life, they did all this good stuff. To me, it don't make no sense. Like, it's like, because there are bad straight couples. Not saying that there aren't bad gay couples, I'm sure there are, but there are bad straight couples who have kids. And it's like, if I have a bad straight couple versus a gay good couple, I'm choosing the gay good couple. Now, if you're a gay bad couple, then you're just a bad couple. I'm not going to get, you know, you shouldn't have no kids in the first place because you're just not a good person. I never understood that logic behind when some pro-life people or certain adoption centers be like, oh yeah, well, we can't do this because you're gay. And I'm just like, dog.
Yeah, it's a lot of negative stigmas that are just associated with the LGBTQ community. And I'm really happy that you reached out to me to come on here because I did want to show that there's so much more than what is presented or what people think is present. And even tying it back into the masculinity thing, like there are gay people, bi people, whoever is on the spectrum. There are people who are macho and portray that, you know, that stereotype of masculinity or whatever you want to call it. I'm getting tripped up on my words now. But there's also people who, you know, who follow the stereotypical gay stuff, and there's everything in between. But I just wanted to show that people get caught up in labels, and it's not about the label.
It's really
it's not about the label.
That's facts. Because I feel like your sexuality or like you as a man, like for some reason, human beings decided that certain things matter than others, and we just run with it every single day. Like when my friends talk about or like the girlfriends that I have, and they talk about what they want in a man, they be like the first 4 things they say is like how he looks. And I'm just like, dang. The first thing I'm thinking about, yo, does this dude kill people? Like, is he a good person? How's he treat his mom? Like, is he treating his dad? Like, I be asking these questions. They be like, oh yeah, of course you care about that. And I be like, that's crazy, because I would never know. Whenever I ask you, what do you look for in a man? You said, oh, he gotta be 6'2", he gotta be dark skin. I need a beard. Like, his hairline gotta be nice. Like, he gotta be making 6 figures. And I be like, okay.
So, question for you: how do you feel about when it comes to some of the things associated with masculinity for dating? Like, oh, you have to open the door for me, you have to pay for the date, like, because those are some things associated with that.
I hate I think dating, certain dating requirements are kind of dumb, because women will deny it, but they play men for food. Women I know will deny it, and I've seen them play men for food. And I'm like, stop lying, because I know you do it. So when I defend saying, well, if a man doesn't want to pay for your meal because he's been played before, he doesn't have to. Like, if I'm a guy and I take girls on dates and then 2-3 days later they're like, oh, it's not gonna work out, I'm sorry. Sure, it might seem petty amount to you, but to me, you're wasting time and money. Because I'm getting paid for my time. Even if I'm getting paid $100K a year and I'm taking you on dates of my caliber, because you know your taste evolved with your salary. So the taste that you had making $40K is the taste you had making $200K. And like, it happens everywhere, every culture, every race around the world, it happens. So I'm taking you from Red Lobster making $50K a year to taking you to Ruth Chris making $120K a year. And you saying, oh, well, it's just a date or two. Like, dude, that's wasting my time and money. And then not only you're wasting double my time, because the money that I'm making, I'm spending on you. So if I'm taking you on dates that cost $200, $300 or whatever, not only have I wasted money, but I've wasted my time twice, because I had to work to get that money.
Right.
So now I'm not only the negative in my money, I'm in the negative in my time. Double. And so so women be saying, oh, well, you know, if you just wait, like, no, bruh, I'm grown. Like, sure, if you're 19, 20, you can do what you want. I don't care. But once you get older, we grown. We grown. Like, ain't no point in playing no games, because you going to be mad if I use you for sex.
Right.
If I use you for sex, you're going to be mad. Why would you waste my time like that? That's the first thing you're going to say.
Yeah.
Why would you waste my time like that? What do you mean? I thought we was... No. Why are you wasting my time? So when women talk about, oh, well, I need a man to open the door and pay for the dates and blah, 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 it depends on the woman. Because there are some independent women who's like, I got it.
Right.
Don't even... Like, they'll pay for their own date, and they'll still keep dating you, too. They just want to know if you're going to treat them, like, with respect.
Right.
Are you misogynistic? Are you sexist? You going to say some stupid shit?
Right.
Yes or no? And it's like... And there's some women out here who, personally, I would never date, who is like, well, you got to pay for my first date. Oh, a word? I have to? Okay. I'll never text you again or talk to you again or call you again. It's a billion other women out there. I'm not finna waste my time on this one chick who's entitled. Yeah. Like, entitlement kills. Like, entitlement is one of the things I think in men that are just so bad that I feel like women are picking up. Yeah. Like, men being entitled to, they think they're entitled to so much stuff. I'm like, dude, you're not entitled to nothing, this woman. Right. You ain't entitled to no sex. You ain't entitled to her apartment. You ain't entitled to her car. You ain't entitled to nothing she gives you. Now, when you're married, that's a little bit different, because you guys make a bond that's different. Like, you're entitled to do certain things for your wife, and she's entitled to do certain things for you that you guys set up in your marriage. That's different. If we're just talking and dating, I'm not entitled to anything you do. Like, if I'm telling my girlfriend, like, hey, I want to kiss up on you right now, she's like, I'm not feeling it. That's it. It ain't no, come on, babe, you know, I ain't seen you in 2 weeks, and I want to just touch up on you, and just let me do like, no, bruh, no one. And the same thing for women. Yeah. If a man doesn't want to pay for your meal, or doesn't want to do this or open the door or none of that stuff, you're not entitled to nothing that this man has or owns.
I feel like it's funny that you say that men are entitled, because I think the circles that I exist in now, like, women are the entitled ones. Oh yeah, and it's switching. Yeah, it's starting to switch, because you see a lot more men, and this is what I want to touch on too with the masculinity thing. You see a lot more black men. You see a lot more black men being submissive. Yeah, and feeling like they can't say anything. And because I remember one time I said on Twitter, I was talking about black male suicide rate, and I was like, yo, like, I said something about black male suicide rate is the highest amongst suicide, like, versus women. And women, literally dozens of women I've never heard of or seen before, was like, well, men ain't shit, who gives a fuck? And I was just like, Jesus Christ. I had men in my DMs, like, and I won't expose the men, but I had men in my DMs talking about, this is why I don't open up to women. He's like, you can talk about suicide, someone taking their life because they feel like their life is rock bottom, and women saying, oh, men suck. Yeah. What? Yeah. To me, like, that's when I knew. I was like, I understand why a lot of men have the mindset that they have. Yeah. Because you talking about a group that's 3.5 more likely to kill themselves than another group. Yeah. And you saying, who cares? Yeah. For every 100,000 men, there's, I think, like 300 suicides. What? And you talking about men ain't shit? Yeah, all right, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, because I just hear a lot of, like, because I think even when it comes to sexual assault now, like, guys are just scared of doing anything, because women just, this is very general, and this is just the trend of things. I'm not saying every woman out there is entitled or just has this, I have power over you, but I think the trend is that I'm the woman, I can do what the fuck I want to do, and you have to take whatever I give. I think that's the general synopsis. And that's crazy, because I don't even be fucking bitches like that. I be fucking niggas. So I feel like I have not necessarily the right. I guess that's that entitlement that you're talking about.
But I don't like entitlement. Yeah. I don't think I don't know if it was the way that it could have been the way that I was raised, like, by my dad, who, like, I don't know what, like, even my brother, like, you're just not entitled to anything that's like you, right? You didn't have to come on this podcast. You didn't have to reply to my DMs. You didn't have to keep going back and forth with me, us getting that time. Like, you didn't have to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this had to. I just feel like entitlement is really one of the worst traits that people get. And don't get me wrong when I'm saying, there are a lot of entitled men out here who are trash, that, like, men who think they're entitled to sex, that rape women, castrate or kill them. Yeah. Like, throw them in prison and isolate them and make them go crazy and show them how it feels to be, you know what I'm saying, entitled to something. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, I think entitlement is such a bad trait to have in men or women. like I hear my female friends be like, well, if he's not paying for my date, then blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, dog, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why do you think that you deserve this man's money? Like, who are you? You just...
I mean, that, and you may, I'm not sure if you bring any females or women on this show, but I think that starts diving into what feminism and toxic feminism looks like.
I got two people that I want on that topic. Because I'm gonna get two girls. And because you're the only man that I know who's really real about, you know, bad traits in men, straight or gay. Yeah. And even in the Greek community. Yeah. Because, like, my friends know me. I'm one of the few dudes who I personally feel like who's not Greek, because you know, I'm like whatever, but who I feel like if I see a normal dude doing something, I'm like, bruh, stop it. Like, you're weird, you're creepy. I'll be the first dude to call it out. Yeah. Like I've almost fought dudes who done creepy stuff to my friends while they're drunk. And I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? Do you feel good about yourself? Yeah. I almost got jumped one night. Yeah. Like in my mind, I was like, yo, like I hope I don't die. Because it was at a kickback at U Point, and it was like some random kickback that my friends wanted to go to, and so they called me up. They was like, "Yo, we're drunk at U Point. We need some help." So I walk in there, cool, whatever, and of course I see them drunk. So I'm laughing at first because I'm like, y'all stupid. Yeah. Look at y'all look sloppy, stupid. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm gonna collect them. We're gonna go to Waffle House, get some food in them, so they don't, you know, get sick when they wake up, and I'm gonna take them back to UV on campus. And then so as I'm carrying one of them literally in my arms because she's gone. The other ones are just, you know, they're whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, y'all, let's go. I'm yelling at them like, let's go. Like, y'all annoying me now. It was funny at first, but like, let's go. I feel like a dad at this point. Yeah. Some dudes are like, nah, bro, leave her. And I'm like, nigga, what do you mean leave her? I don't even know you. Yeah. And I don't care if you do know her. I don't know you. Yeah. And she didn't tell me that she knew you when she told me to come over here. So in my mind, you're a stranger. I don't care if you're her brother or not. Right. Cool. You can be mad at me in the morning. She can be mad. It's Gucci. Yeah. These dudes are like, yeah, leave her, bro. She's good. I'm like, no, bro. She's not good. I'm like, look at her, bro. She's passed out. And they trying to like touch her and stuff. And I'm like, all right, bro. Like, this is it. Yeah. But luckily, they just let me go. And I was really finna put her down and throw down with like 6, 7 dudes. And it was no way I was gonna win. But I wasn't like, I just couldn't bring myself to leave because like I got sisters, you know, and like, well, women I consider sisters. I got like aunties and cousins, and I was like, I just can't. Like, it wouldn't sit right with me. I would rather get beat up and jump than to leave her and me be fine and she be messed up. Yeah, and I think that's because it's funny that you even bring up that MPHC event, because from me speaking on that and how my chapter has sort of moved from that point, like we check each other consistently because we did realize that like, oh shit, we were pushing the boundaries a little bit, and it's not I don't even hesitate, and I think this is the problem with most men now. We don't check each other when it comes to certain things that we're supposed to be doing, because I do believe that we're supposed to be protectors in general, and especially when it comes to, and I'm not saying that some women aren't able to protect themselves, but when you find females in situations like that, you're supposed to step up and say something, like gay, straight, whatever. Yeah. You're supposed to step up, and it's not a time now where I don't recon or do some kind of debrief with my brothers when I've seen something. And then I think we've gotten comfortable enough with our sister chapter for the Zetas where if something happens, they run to somebody. It may not be that person directly, which is something within itself, but they tell somebody and we address it very quickly, because it just is too many people in jail for the wrong things. Too many rapes are happening. Like, it's too many things that are just happening that are not good for us not to deal with it head on. So yeah, that is that's a really big thing that I feel like in being a man, you know, gay or straight or whatever you identify as. I feel like if you can't protect the ones around you, can you call yourself a man? Yeah. And I feel like, and if also you're someone who's hurting the people around you or doing bad things around you, I personally feel like you can't be a man, because the way I was raised, the men protect. Yeah. Like, the men protect and provide. Whatever you identify as, it don't matter. You protect and you provide. Like if it came out that my dad, let's say, hit my mom or something like that, or my dad used to, it would shatter my world. Like, it would shatter literally everything I believe in. Because he's the one that raised me. He's like, don't you ever hit a woman. And I've been slapped by women. Yeah. Where it wasn't even my fault. Where she's like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. Like, she's like, just heard the wrong thing, blah, blah. I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like, it is what it is. Nah, it's different. You got like a knife or something. Now I'm gonna punch in your throat. You got like a knife. It's like, you know, you got a weapon.
Yeah.
But in general though, like when some women have hit me or whatever, I'd be like, all right, like I'm not gonna hit this girl because I'm strong, you know, not saying that she's not strong, but it's like a man punching you in the chest is a little bit different.
It's gonna hit a little different.
It's gonna hit a little different. And especially like a guy that lifts weights, it's like, it's gonna be a little different. And so when I see, like I had to stop going to certain parties and certain events because like I was gonna get in a fight with the people there. Yeah. Like I had to stop going to hood parties because I would see some creepy dudes doing. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to get shot. So I told my friends, I was like, I'm just not gonna go anymore to certain hood parties that y'all want to go to because it's not gonna end well for nobody that night. Yeah. Because soon as one of my friends say this dude touched me, it's on go. Right. Like it's like there's no way around it. Like, do you want men to change? Yes or no? Like if we go to this party and this dude touch you and you tell me, I'm stick to my principles. Like I'm gonna swing on the dude, something's gonna happen. And I don't even believe in fighting. I think fighting's stupid. But it's like if you assault someone, male or female, like, dude, what are you doing? And so I remember the event, you know, the Greek event, it was kind of aggravating to me how the women were asking very specific questions. Because like, okay, if a woman asks you a question, she knows. She just wants you to admit it. So when the women were asking, have y'all ever assaulted anyone before? Or even they've been asking in a nice way, you think you've assaulted someone. And most of the men on the panel was like, nah, not really. I mean, maybe. I might be by accident. I could see your face and you were like, these niggas here, are they for real right now? And then you went down like the whole rant and you was like, keep it a stack. It's like, some of y'all are good, but a lot of y'all ain't. And it's pretty much what you pretty much said for the most part. And I was like, dang, dude, this dude is real, bro. I was like, And I just don't understand how, like, why can't men just realize, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this? Is
I don't know. I think it's a pride thing because even following that situation, like I joked around and laughed about like I got public ridicule, but like people genuinely did not fuck with me. After I said
that's dumb. How you not gonna fuck with them
for something you did? I don't know. And some of the things I heard back was, well, you shouldn't have said it out loud, or you should have said it on a more private level.
Why do you want to sweep it under the rug?
I don't know. And thinking back on it, because just being the person that I am, and whoever's listening, and I do this on my podcast, this is why I give disclaimers all the time, so excuse this, but whoever's listening, like, this is nothing like negatively against your organization, you as a person, anything like that. But just going back to the situation, when we sort of debriefed it as a council, they were like, well, you shouldn't have said anything out loud. You should have said, came to us personally. And I apologized for it at the time. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, because I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'm an emotional based person. So like I felt that and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like if I really put you in harm's way or whatever. But looking back on it, it's like, why did it have to be like, it was a forum for some stuff that happened publicly. So why can't we discuss it publicly? And I think that's something we just really struggle with as a people. We do not want to talk about shit, especially when shit that we're doing wrong. And I think that's why I pride myself on whenever I see some shit going on wrong in my chapter, they may hate me for that moment, but in the long run, it always pays off. Because it's like, if we don't say anything, we aren't getting better as a chapter, as men, all that other stuff. So I don't know. It's just crazy that because I genuinely felt bad for a long time for what I said.
I don't think you should. Because, like, with my friends, I check them. Like, I tell them, I'm like, I don't care if you have sex with 30 girls in a week or whatever, or I don't care. It's like, as long as you're honest and not manipulating them, then nothing can come back to bite you in the butt. Because if you tell a girl, hey, I don't want to be your boyfriend. I just want to chill. I just want to do this, whatever. She can't go back on her word and be like, well, you tricked me. It's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I told you up front, straight up. Because I be telling my friends, I'm like, dude, this, like, what y'all were doing in the past, like, could definitely come back to bite you in the butt. Because if you're lying to a girl, telling her, like, yeah, I want to be your boyfriend. I want to do all this for you, blah, blah, blah. You smash and you leave her and ghost her. Like, she feels used. She gonna be crying. And your name is going to be in the streets. Because I've had people put my name in the streets on some lies. Like, they were saying that I was out here smashing all my friends. Lord. And I was like, no, that's not true. Who's been saying, and they didn't tell me who said it, but I was like, that's not true. It's like, because I don't even do that stuff. Yeah. Like, I was like, so, like, I'm defended already, because I was like, show me where I've done this. It's like, if you can't show me proof, then you're just talking out your mouth. And there are a lot of girls who can show proof because you be like my dad says, a text will never lie. If you text it and it's in someone's phone, I promise you that's proof enough for someone to believe it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're honest and straight up from the jump, like, sure, she can be mad later on at herself, but she can't be mad at you. Or even a guy that you with can't be mad at you. Because if you're like, yo, I don't want to do this, I just want to, you know.
But you have men who justify that negative type of action because, I mean, we can call it women ain't shit. Like, you have men who think like that, like, I'm gonna be a fuck nigga because, I mean, these bitches out here doing all kind of shit too. So, I mean, you have people who think like that.
That's terrible logic because two things aren't correlated. You can be a bad person and I can still be a good person.
Yeah.
Just because you're bad doesn't mean that I'm bad. Like, that's not good logic. Because if you're bad and I'm bad, then everyone sucks.
Yeah.
And we just gonna hate each other forever.
Yeah.
Because like I eventually want to get to the point to where men and women don't hate each other or don't talk crap about each other all the time.
Yeah.
Because like we said earlier, as a man, you can't say nothing. You say anything, it's just shit talking. Men ain't shit. Y'all stupid. Y'all homophobic. Y'all toxic masculinity. This. Y'all all that. Like, did you see the clip where the dude told his girl that he didn't want her to make her OnlyFans and they broke up?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, he's in the right though.
Yeah.
Because they had a conversation about it. And sure, she can make an OnlyFans. That's on her. But if you discuss something with your partner, it's like, hey, I don't want you doing this. And you do it and we break up, I'm not in the wrong because we discussed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you made it, I found out, oh, I'm going to break up with you. It's like, nah, we talked about this. Because he said it. He was like, we talked about it and you made it anyway. He's like, so no, I'm leaving. I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you? And like, women were dragging this man. It's like, well, you gonna pay her bills, you gonna do this, blah blah blah. And it's like,
it was the principle.
It was regardless of all that. Because like, if my girl tells me, hey, I don't want you doing this, and I go do this and she breaks up with me, it's my fault. Like, I'm sorry. And it's not gonna be nothing unreasonable like, hey, I don't want you talking to no guy ever. No, that's dumb. That's controlling. But you mean to tell me that the only job that you could ever find, and then it's not no guarantee that your OnlyFans is gonna be hitting.
Yeah.
You can make an OnlyFans and
your
you got
pussy drive.
Yeah. you got 20 dudes on your thing and that's it. And you're making like $100 a week. Yeah. That's it. Like, no, bruh. There's so many more things you could have did. There are virtual jobs you could have did during this pandemic that would have made you money.
Yeah.
You could have did Uber Eats. You could have did something. But no, you decided to go against the one thing that he says, hey, I don't want you doing it. I'm not comfortable. But men ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's it. It drives me crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I swear, I just don't understand women. I just don't like.
I don't either. And like, majority of my friends are women, and I just be like I don't understand them, but I think that helps me when I'm talking to like my guy friends or my frat brothers or whatever. I'm like, this is how they think. And I think what we really have to start, and there's a lot of things that we need to address when it comes to masculinity or black masculinity, but I think we need to start talking about what females are actually doing to reinforce some of those negative traits. Because, I mean, I feel like they do things that reinforce negative stereotypes for black men.
Facts.
So,
like when women, like, back in the day when like they used to rap, like women used to like Destiny Child and things like that.
Yeah.
They were like, I want a soldier, I want a baller.
Right.
It was none but hood dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like, you don't want the guy that's director of IT at his job who's making like $300K a year, like.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how a lot of celebrity black dudes they leave black women because they don't want to deal with the stress. Like, they don't want to deal with all the extra, all the hullabaloo, all that stuff that comes with it. And not saying every black woman is like that. Of course not. There's some cool black women, a lot of black men, you know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of black women out there who are really toxic. Like, toxic. Like, I'm talking about.
There was this one video, and this is why I get off of Twitter at least 2 to 3 days at a time, because there was this one video where this woman, she was ranting about like, oh, I don't want no nigga with a 9 to 5, and she started going off about like, I want instant money. Granted, a lot of her points they didn't hit like they were supposed to hit, because because if you working a 9 to 5 and you making $100K a year, it don't matter if you're not working a 9 to 5 or not. Like, you got money. So, but she just like, she basically, it sounded like she wanted a drug dealer. And there's nothing wrong with drug dealing, but she just she cut off so many, just a plethora of men who had more than likely had positive traits.
Yeah.
And positive masculinity, and you just want to cut them off because you don't have a 9 to 5. Like that's the dumbest shit. Why are you cutting any man off for one who has a job? That shit don't make no sense.
Yeah, that's
to me.
wild.
Yeah, so it's
like, why are you cutting off certain men who fit your criteria? Mm-hmm. Or let me say this: your spoken criteria, but inside you really want something different. Because a lot of people, even men, do this all the time, which I don't get. They be like, "Oh yeah, I want a good girl." It's like, do you really want a good girl? Because you'll cheat on her. It's like, do you really? Yeah. And men will be like, yeah, I cheated, but I still love her. And I'd be like, shut up! Yeah. I slap you in the face. You don't love her. How you gonna cheat on her and love her? Yeah. Like, to me, that don't make no sense. But people will have their outspoken criteria that they want. They're like, oh yeah, I need me a 6'2", dark-skinned dude that's making like $300K a year. He got have his own little house and like 3 cars, whatever. But they'll settle for the 5'9" fat dude with a patchy beard who work at McDonald's because I guess he got good dick or whatever. Yeah. Like it's like I think everything's a cap. Yeah, all of it's cap. Yeah. Like they be saying certain things, I'd be like, shut up, you're lying. You're lying. Like look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yeah. Most people would not have dated Jay-Z because he's ugly. like, or even Russell Wilson and Ciara and Future. Yeah. Like they were saying Russell Wilson, he's like 5'10". Like he's probably like your height. Like he's barely taller than me, you know what I'm saying? And he's the typical corny good dude who wear like, you know, the big old dad jeans and like the shirts or whatever. And it's like most of y'all would not go for a dude like that. Yeah. But yet y'all be asking Ciara what she prayed for to get a man like that. Yeah. It's like that dude that you're asking for is probably like, yeah, he's right there. It's probably in your field of range, but y'all are stuck on the Future dude. And it's like, how you gonna be stuck on the Future guy but you want the Russell Wilson? Yeah. It's like none of like y'all not ready to talk about that.
They thought I think, and I feel like the conversation is just shifting, but I feel like there's a lot of double standards when it comes to women and jumping back into like cause I don't believe in like opening the door and paying for the first day and all that other stuff. I don't really believe in that because I see women as equals. So it's like you're asking for me to do those things which are honestly traditionally based out of the fact that women weren't able to do those things in the first place. Yeah. You know, they weren't allowed to.
So you think it's toxic?
I think so.
That's a very interesting, I'm not even gonna count.
I think so because I don't think it can become toxic for men, but I think generally it's not toxic for men. I think it's more toxic for women because I feel like it puts them back in the place of them not having power. So like honestly,
submissive.
Yeah, it's because I mean you see all this women propaganda and strong black women, and you know even the idea that was painted in my head and what I grew up with, like women are strong. Yeah, so facts. Things like you need me to pay for your food, your rent, all that other stuff. And I'm not saying that I won't, but it's the fact that you're coming to the table with that. I give back to, this is an extreme, but give back your right to vote. Like, that's how I look at it sometimes. And people look at me funny when I say that, but yeah. I feel like those little things reinforce the little power that women had during a certain time. So let's not put those certain things because you don't want the other things that comes with you being submissive.
So they just want all the privilege.
You want the perks.
You want the perks of it. See, that's what I think. I think that's kind of interesting perspective for the whole toxic masculinity thing, because it's like you're kind of right about that. Because back in the day, you couldn't drive. You couldn't vote. You didn't have a job to pay for the meal. So the man did all that. You driving the passenger side. Me opening the door for you because you couldn't touch the door. Me doing, oh snap, look at you, man. I knew it was smart to have you on here. That is kind of interesting because when I think of toxic masculinity, I think of like beating your woman or like controlling her. But I don't think of controlling her in that sense. I think of controlling her like, nope, you can't have no friends, you can't go out, you gotta stay home and take care of the kids. That's very Yep. I've never
Yeah, and I'm probably the only person you will ever hear explain that like that.
But it's hard to argue that though, because it's like, are you independent or are you not independent? Because a man, like you'll never hear a man say, I want you to pay for my first date because men are independent. Oh snap. That's so
mind blown.
I'm not even gonna cap. It's rare that someone's able to blow my mind like that. Like, I think the last time that someone did it was my girlfriend when she explained to me abusive relationships. But that is that is a nice cup of tea that people gotta sip on.
I've sat and thought about all of this, like just talking. Like I said, majority of my friends are females, and just being as close as I am with my frat brothers, I think I get perspectives from both sides on a daily. So I come to terms with stuff like that, and I think that's why I'm able to sort of tear down, honestly, I mean, even not as a woman, like things that are toxic for women. Yeah. I'm able to tear down things on both sides.
That was really good. So do you think that in the, because I don't want to bash the Greeks. I actually like Greeks. I do like some of y'all, for real. That sexual assault is rampant in the Greek community?
I think it's, yes. And I think it's possibly even higher when it comes to same sex. Because I was sexually assaulted by a fraternity brother. But those, honestly, so on top of conversations that aren't happening when it comes to male and female sexual assault, I think it's tenfold when it comes to same sex. Because that's definitely not talked about. It's honestly...
I didn't even think about it.
It's still taboo to even identify and be in an organization. And granted, you have plenty of people who are in the organizations identify, but still, it's like, that's not something you're like waving a rainbow flag around in meetings, you know, saying. Yeah. So what was your original question?
Do you think sexual assault is rampant in the Greek community?
Oh yeah, but for sure. And I don't think it's talked about enough. I think it's starting to come up a little bit more. But I mean, when I first joined the organization, and I feel comfortable talking about this, I mean, we didn't have, sexual assault prevention seminars or anything like that. That wasn't a thing. Yeah. And granted, Me Too wasn't around. Like, those movements weren't around, but we weren't, how to treat your fellow sorority sisters. Like, that stuff wasn't in our training, And granted, there was, I guess you can say stigma's a little different. I can't speak for any other org, but we were taught to respect Zeta, so there was that to some extent.
Because they're like your actual sisters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm just now starting to see like seminars and sexual assault, what to do if you see it, if you've experienced it. Like, those are just coming to the forefront. And I mean, I think there's just been so many things that have happened in the past year. And I think media has played a huge role, because something happens, if Twitter finds out, it's over.
It's over with.
Yeah, it's completely over. But I think to combat how much it is happening, I think people are more open to talking about it now. Mm-hmm. I mean, simply because you can at an organization or at a major or higher member of the organization, and I mean, they have a public duty, since it's in the public now, to sort of respond and do something about it. Granted, I don't think it should be like that, but there's a few more avenues than it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because like I never really thought about the same sex assault in the organization for Greeks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I never really thought about same sex assault on like non-Greeks, like people like me. Because usually when I think of assault, I think of a man hitting a woman. Mm-hmm. Like, or not even, you haven't got to be hitting her. Like, are you just controlling her life? Mm-hmm. Like, she can't go outside. Like, even like very non-physical, like she ain't got no bruises or nothing, or like she ain't got no broken bones, but it's like mentally she's trapped. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was thinking of, but that's a very good input for something like that, because now that I think about it, there are probably a lot of, men who are getting abused by other men and they don't even know it.
Yeah. And I think that's another sort of fault of masculinity in general, that those things can't happen.
Facts.
Because
boys will be boys.
Right. Boys will be boys. Like, I experienced domestic violence when I first got to college with my ex. I've experienced sexual assault. I've experienced all kind of the same shit that you be hearing when it comes to heteronormative relationships or heterosexual relationships. I've experienced it all. And sometimes maybe even more than what some of my peers have experienced. So
yeah, I don't feel like we talk about the abuse that actually happens to men too often, because like we don't one is hard to comprehend, especially when it's a bigger, more quote unquote masculine guy when it happens to it,
right?
Than women, because and I'm guilty of it, because like I just said, like when I think of assault, I think of men and women, I don't think of anything bad that's happened to men at all. Because like I can't. To me, it's hard to imagine a man getting abused because it's like this is gonna sound so bad. But it's like, bro, you're a man. Slap him back. Like,
right.
Like they just hit him back, bro. And it's like, I know I can't think that. I try not to think that way, but it's the man in me, the black masculinity.
No, it's fine.
It's the black masculinity in me. But it's like, that's a really good point because what is the statistic of male assault?
I have no clue. That is not something I keep up with.
It's 1 in 5 for women. And I think it's like 1 in 70 for men or something like that. And it's even crazier because you know that white people sexually assault people less than black men. Like I found that out during.
Very interesting.
I remember it from the Greek thing. They were saying that white people they don't assault. They mostly get like drunk and just do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
They say black people they like rape people like they rape men rape men and women.
Yeah.
And when I found that out, it was very eye opening because I would have thought that it was the larger demographic that did it, but it actually is black people because like. They say that, but the reason why we think that way is because, like you said earlier, it's swept under the rug a lot. Like people don't want to talk about it publicly. And I remember there was a tweet of this girl was saying how her grandmother was watching this judge show, and they were talking about Bill Cosby, and they was like, "Yeah, if anyone ever touched my kids, I would, beat the shit out of them, or whatever." And the girl replied to her grandmother saying, "Well, you guys didn't do that to my sexual assaulter."
Yeah.
And like she was saying, like it just made the whole room awkward. But she was like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
Because it's true though. We don't talk about it enough in the community. At least that's what I feel like. We don't talk about it.
No, we definitely don't. I think I think part of it is in our control, but another part of it is that both people who identify on the LGBTQ spectrum and people of the black or minority populations, I feel like we just don't know what healthy relationships look like, healthy behavior looks like in some instances. So that's why you see a lot of domestic violence, sexual assault. Like we think these things are okay to some extent.
It's so weird because it's not.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't like. So the reason why. So there's 2 reasons why I don't fight people. One, I think fighting is for stupid people or poor people because to me that means that you can express yourself mentally enough to get your point across. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, you're bi, I'm straight. You're going to get mad at me, or I'm going to be mad at you for not being straight, so I'm just going to beat you up. Right. It's like, so you can't articulate your point to get across to him. Like, that's, to me, doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And the second reason why I also don't fight people is because I don't think that you should beat up other people because they say something or do something or whatever. It's like, that's how we get killed as black people. Yeah. Like, people literally, the dude, Ahmad, he just got shot because he was black. Yeah. Like, I don't think no one should do that. Like, I'm not finna shoot or fight nobody because of something they do or whatever. So it's like, when I said that I'm a passive, people are like, oh, you a loser. It's like, bro, no, bro, I could really rock some niggas for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, that won't get anything done. That just proves a stereotype that I'm just an angry black dude who just want to fight because I'm a black dude. It's like, no, bro. Like, that also leads to the sexual assault stuff too. Yep. Because like, oh, she's not gonna have sex with me? I'm just gonna knock her out. Like, no, bruh. She ain't gonna have sex with you. Go to the other girl that might wanna have sex with you. Yeah. Like, there's literally 4 billion other women on earth. I promise you, one of them is gonna have sex with you. Yep. I promise you.
We reinforce behaviors that aren't okay.
And it's so dumb because it's like, is it really that deep? Like, seriously. Like, we men know post-nut clarity, right? You want that shawty to come over or whatever. Yeah. Your dick hard. Yeah. You can't think straight. As soon as it's done, you be like, damn. I should have never told her to come. She finna know the hell out of me. Right. And it's like, bro, it's like, I tell my friend, I'm like, bro, just beat you meat. Yeah. Like, you don't want to do it. Like, that's why I can't cheat. I can't cheat because I don't need too much on my plate. Yeah. Like, it's already hard enough to make sure that your one girl is happy. Mm-hmm. Now you gotta deal with 4 of them. I'm saying though, like, you had the cookout, right?
You got you jump from 1 to 4. That's such an
No, I'm serious, bro. A lot of dudes be talking to like 3 or 4 girls at a time.
I can't manage 1.
That's what I'm saying. 1 is hard enough to do. Yeah. So me personally, when dudes cheat, I'm like, dog, you gotta either not give a fuck or you give too much of a fuck. Yeah. Cause me just, with my one girl trying to make her happy, make sure that she's good and comfortable, whatever. That's a job itself. Yeah. Now you gotta juggle. And then when you cheat, they can't know about each other. So now they can't know about each other. So you gotta make sure they're happy.
That is a skill set to have.
Boy, what? I can't even do it. It's just not in my repertoire. Like, I can't cheat. Like, when dudes be cheating, I be like, all right, bro, I can't trust you. Yeah. Like, when guys cheat, I can't trust them. Yeah. Because it's like, You gonna do that to your shawty? Oh,
Who
imagine
knows?
what you're gonna do to me.
Right.
You gonna sell me out to the wolves.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. But yeah, man, I'm glad we had this conversation about
Yeah.
toxic masculinity, because Lord knows we suck.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good guys out there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good, and I hate when the good guys get caught up
Indeed.
and they call them losers.
Yep. Or they don't even look twice. You
Yeah,
know.
look twice. If you short and fat, it's done. If you short and fat, man, don't even look. You're gonna be an incel. You're just gonna hate women.
No, we stay talking about that at the house. Like, bro, we just out here trying to be, good dudes, and people don't want that.
No, that's why I fat shame. It's a hypocrisy. Women, if you tell a woman that you don't want a chick who's 350, how dare you?
Oh.
You fat shaming.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, okay, well, you want a 6'1", you want something that I can't control. I want something that you can control. If anything, you're the bad person.
Jesus. That's another perspective too.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, you can control what goes in your body.
So you fat shame?
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
But it's not, okay, I don't fat shame directly to people or like even my friends, because it's like, do what you want to do. I just fat shame in general, the principle of it.
Okay.
Because women short shame, or they don't want short men, or they don't want whatever, or you know what I'm saying?
No, that's
That's like
real.
So it's like whenever my friends, like I'm in a couple of group chats with a lot of girls, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I want me a 6'2" or 6'1" or just above 6 foot, whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, fuck these fat hoes. I'm not trying to get one. And they be getting mad at me. I'm like, what?
The double standard.
I'm
it
like,
arises again.
I'm like, don't get mad at me, because you're saying the exact same thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even look at it like that. I didn't even think of
I
that.
do it all the time, because it's like you can't get mad at me for saying that.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna get mad at me for saying it, then you can never have a certain physical standard again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not either we're both right or we're both wrong.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
Yeah.
So you can have your 6 foot dude. Just
they
don't give
go
me
crazy on Twitter.
Just don't give me no chick who's over 200 pounds. And if she is, she gotta be like 6'4", because the body mass ratio. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to be 200. Like, you probably skinny at that point if you 6'4".
Goodness. Oh my God.
I mean, did I say anything wrong?
No.
But I just think it's funny. But is there anything that you want to say before we close out?
No, I appreciate you having me on here. That's for the people listening, just be you.
Just be you.
Be the best person you can be. I feel like you can't go wrong with just being the best person that you can. So even if you are the stereotypical black man, or even if you're not, it doesn't matter. As long as you're out here not just being a horrible ass person, I think.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with me. I just think a lot of men suck. We do. But a lot of us do try. And we do got some toxic masculinity out there, but a lot of that stuff not toxic. Some of that stuff is needed.
Yeah.
Order, structure, all that good stuff. Like, sometimes you need to sit down and structure your life. I'm like, oh, you're so emotional. Yeah. You're so unemotional. It's like, yeah, sometimes you need that though, to get some stuff done. But yeah, man, it was great having you on the podcast. Shout out your podcast.
Oh yeah, so you guys, I am the co-host of Black, Gay, and Okay.
Oh yes, sir.
Yes. If you want to hear just different conversations about me and my best friend sort of existing and coming to terms with how we identify and live in this world, you can give us a follow at _BGO_pod on Instagram. We stream on all social media, or I said social media, all streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, this is Man Versus, and I have my boy Sean on the phone. I mean, on the podcast, and we'll see you guys later. All right.